Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer. We've got the RPG Chick, we've got Xenoman, and I've got company here in the form of T and Haddix doing our tracking. How you doing today, T?
I'm doing really fine because I get to commentate yet another race of this fantastic randomizer tournament. So yeah, looking forward.
Well, we are about a minute out, but it's a good chance just to go over some of the basics of what's going on here. So, this is an open world randomizer for Mystic Quest. Our runners can get to places in different orders than you could in the vanilla game. Stats are going to be randomized, scripts are going to be shifted around. You get some pure insanity sometimes from those early enemies as a result.
Yep. And we have some specific flag settings that make pretty good races so far, at least as I saw it. We have the standard settings for the how is this called? For the logics. That means we get early coins, and that opens up the map quite big. And we are starting already. To finish this sort, and we have 4 crystal sky coin mode. That means we have to defeat all the big bosses in the different areas to get the 4 crystals, and then we will be delivered with the sky coin. And we get a Venus key from the old man in the forest.
That's an interesting early pickup. You can't redeem it right away, but it's always nice to have the progress thing before you get to it.
Yeah, that will definitely make it very attractive to route in Spencer's Tunnel and the back end of Focus Tower once you get access to it.
To not really have a red box this early is actually a little unusual. You do start with a sword, so it's looking like Bone Dungeon's going to have to kind of be loaded.
And we have 3 money battlefields here in Foresta, which is not the greatest thing to have, because at one point you will definitely have to do at least 1 money battlefield, probably 2. And doing them in Foresta is not so hot if you have a choice, because at one point these battlefields can be a bit tricky if these enemies roll for decent attacks or dangerous attacks, or if they roll for high HP and high speed.
Now, the other pretty obvious conclusion we see in this with no progress items means Tristan has to give us progress. So that Spencer item is either going to be bombs or a coin.
Yeah. As I already said, with this flag setting, you are very likely to get the coins very early in the run. So most of the time, I don't think I so far had a seat where I had to do the Bone Dungeon before progressing through the Focus Tower. Yeah, and you get the progression in the Bone Dungeon probably in the seat, but there's always the outside chance of having the progression item right before the Sand Coin door in the Focus Tower.
Also, just in general principle, I really like doing early money battlefields to make sure you have items. Giant Sacks could open something in the level for us that maybe we didn't see yet. Another red.
We have an item behind the bomb here.
But it's a big old weapon. It can do some damage as needed.
And we get River Coin.
So goodbye, Tristram. You're leaving our party now.
Yeah, Tristram 1 is really... Or Tristram in general is not a great partner to have. His attack value is pretty low, and he can do nothing but attack and use a life spell. And okay, we are checking some level forest boxes because they saw a chest in here when they checked it first, and they get rewarded big time with the Cupid Locket.
That is a big early find. You're never going to be upset about getting that in the early game.
Yeah. I mean, we have... we can go over that too real quickly. We have some mandatory items that you have to get before you will be able to finish the run, which are in this flag setting. You need some kind of sword. We already had that from the start. to open up the ice pyramid. All on top of that, on the weaponry, we need the Dragon Claw and the Mega Grenade. And then we need the Thunder Rock.
You need some form of axe. You have to have a axe, not a specific.
And you have an axe, right, for Pazuzu's Tower. So you need every kind of weapon. And then you need the Thunder Rock, the Captain's Head, and the Mobius Crest to be able to reach the final dungeon and the final boss fight. And of course the Sky Coin, which you get after defeating or after getting all 4 crystals.
So these early battlefields should put us in fine financial shape to be able to purchase our vendor items as they come up. Hopefully a stack of seeds when we get a chance to purchase them. And also you get a couple of those early levels before you have to do any kind of boss fight, which is a very good thing to have.
Yeah, on that note, it's a bit unfortunate, or a bit tricky actually, to have 3 of the money battlefields here in Foresta, because the XP reward for these fights is not that high. It's always better to have them if you get the water coin, the river coin first on the Fireberg section, just because you're rewarded with more experience there per battle. And we get a white spell from the vendor in Fireberg, which is really nice. Because
yeah, not high enough level to do much casting of that yet, but with Ruben, I imagine we're going back to these item battlefields and seeing what we can get out of them.
And Flare on top of that from Tristan. Yeah, just buy a bunch of seeds here. I would buy maybe a bit more than 11, but it's fine. And it's enough for the next couple of dungeons probably. And with the with the Titan's Axe he can cut down these trees on this battlefield really easily. If they don't petrify him, that is.
Yeah, I've never really felt short of seeds when I have.
That's a really unfortunate attack set for the trees.
Yeah, and I don't think therpgchick's safer for this battlefield, so this is going to have to be a retry.
Ruben gets a turn. Okay, they managed to do it. Yeah, that's a really unfortunate attack setting. So we have simple shuffle on the attacks, so that means enemies just trade with their attack set with other enemies.
First item battlefield gives us a claw, the cat claw, and looks like the other one was the magic ring. So these are both dud battlefields as far as our runners are concerned.
Well, cat claw is good. It opens up the Jin fight, and with the white spell, it's reasonable to do it after a few more levels.
Okay, fair enough. It does unlock that. It's just, you need the Dragon Claw, so at first glance it does.
Yeah, but as I said, early Jin is not too bad.
Oh baby, Quake! That's an option now, and those charges come faster than the white charges.
But the damage is not great. I would probably, I hope they level to like level 10, and then they should have a pretty decent chance of defeating the Jin smoothly. That is, and with 5 fights on this battlefield here for the next item, they should be somewhat close to that point.
No bombs to go into the mine though feels bad. So I'm looking at this and I'm not feeling a Jin fight yet. It just doesn't, it feels too early without bombs.
Well, yes, you can argue that way. I would still recommend it because Jin fight unlocks Ruben 2, which is a big upgrade over Ruben 1. And the way to the items that are locked by the bombs that are 4 chests are north of the entry, and the road to the Jin is south to the entry. So it's not like you go there on your way to the Jin anyways. It's a detour anyway, so if they feel like it, they can do Jin now and come back later if they need to, when they have got the bombs. So I still think it's a good play to level up a bit, like I said, probably level 10 also, and then do Jin.
Here's my alternate. We dive the volcano.
Yeah, that's always good.
Medusa.
That's always
You
good.
can get a lot of checks in there.
Yeah. Volcano is always a good play. At least the first room. The first room already has four checks, and the room afterwards has another one. So you have 5 very early checks on the volcano, which I would always recommend to do very early once you have access to Firebug.
This battlefield is not playing nice. These
No.
These, lizards have plenty of bad magic that
They have
with.
also pretty high speed, which is quite a pain for the RPG chick. And yeah, xenoman tried to level up a bit more before going here, but it didn't help him that much, unfortunately.
But there's a couple of experienced battlefields right over here, but I mean they're gonna have the same enemies, so.
No, yeah, what is the ghost? But yeah, the ghost battlefield could be an option in the north. And otherwise, just in the worst case of things, go to the volcano and fight a bunch there, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, this is just a bunch of not nice stuff.
No. These guys are here to fight.
So as our runners are showing, you can get through these, and that's why the temptation is always high to just stick it out, because it only has to work once.
Yeah, it's 5 fights, so it's a long road ahead of them. And yeah, but getting the red caps definitely makes the fight, or makes these fights a bit easier. So
You say that as they're casting spells to one-shot our main character. Cadillac versus Mog, by the way.
yeah, the fire lizards somehow rolled into air attacks, and yeah, that's not what Room is good against, unfortunately.
Definitely prefer the red caps to the lizards in this battlefield. That much is
Definitely.
clear.
Even though they get a surprise attack onto you, but they one-shot you for 400 with the exploder.
Because you still win the fight.
Yeah, that's right. Just hope it doesn't crit onto Room. They can. They seem to have duplicate, which is nice if you have to fight with 2 of them, because then they just don't do anything.
Alright, RPG check is through and gets a steel helmet for all that.
That's not greater, so yeah, probably volcano check is in. No, she went to Euros for the battlefield first, which is a good play.
Okay.
Actually, you can use flare on these enemies too. They are not fire resistant. A lot of enemies in here are, but these not. The skeletons and the mummy.
This is where having a lot of seeds is perfect, and you can really burn through that stuff.
Yep.
There's only one charge, but you can reload it for every one of these fights and one-shot the fights.
Yeah, and both runners already are on 2 charges for their wizard spells. So if you're not that familiar with the game, your spell slots are directly dependent on your level in this game. You get 1 black magic spell for every 2 levels that you make, and 1 wizard spell for every whole 4 levels that you make. So at level 8 until 8 till 11 you have 2 wizard spells, from level 12 onwards and 3, and so on and so on.
Xenoman doing some peak strats on this volcano, seeing what boxes are around. But again, I really like the play because we've seen those battlefields be so ugly. We don't really have the bombs to full clear the mine, but we can do this.
It's definitely a play, and it can work out big time. I don't like to go up the volcano without the exit spell, but because it's a long road that you have to backtrack. But there seems to be a chest on the way to Medusa.
So at least one on here.
So if that's, but both runners go for it, so there won't be a big advantage of that play for anyone.
Now, of course, the runners can also go to the lava dome, but one, you're not beating that boss right now. Zero chance to beat it.
Yeah, no way in hell.
And 2, we don't have bombs to full clear it. So then you're minimum double diving it properly.
Unless there's something blocked by a mega grenade, you don't actually need bombs for the lava domes. You just need a claw for. And that's also only for a few chests. We have Meteor, which is nice against the Djinn. Bit
Yeah,
more
you're not
damage than
great
white.
at that, I don't think.
We have another chest behind Medusa.
Let's see if this opens up anything for the runners.
Yeah, I must say, now I'm definitely would have liked both runners to have bought more seats. Since they do a lot of fighting here, they get the money back they need for the other vendors anyways. So they could have spent their wizard slots more freely if they had bought more seats, like 20 or so, when they were in Fireberg. And yeah, that makes them both lose a bit of time here in these fights because they have to use their weapons and it's much slower, unfortunately.
Well,
I see, yeah, the RPG-chick preparing to fight Medusa here.
I'm a little surprised by that, but yet, elsewise, we really only have 2 checks unlocked available to our runners at all. They can check the Hermit, and they can beat the Djinn.
The Djinn is actually a lot of checks.
Be all in on that play.
The Djinn gives 4 chests after, and on top of the guaranteed items, so it's not bad. And it's a much easier fight than Medusa. So yeah, RPG-chick immediately opts out of this fight, and we get a Sand Coin for the multi-key. Okay, well,
there's the progress, and it was in fact on the volcano.
That's our play then.
I like following that. 1, you get to have Phoebe, which is good stuff. 2, you've got the roster of spells and levels to really do better in Aquaria than Firebird. And 3, when you come back to Firebird, hopefully you're in shape to clear everything.
And we have the rare occurrence having both focus tower chests for at the start here with the Sand Coin chest and the back chest being a red chest. That's pretty rare in this kind of flag setting. But yeah, that's also a good reason to turn in the Sand Coin immediately.
And a Thunder Rock obtained in the focus towers, so part of Go mode.
Oh, we're getting there soon. Good that you mention it. Go mode is just acquiring the items that I mentioned before, but to be able to successfully defeat the Dark King, you probably will need a few more items. So what you want to have is the Cupid Locket, which they already have both. You kind of want the Aegis Shield to not be petrified in the last 2 phases by the Dark King, and you want one of the 2 helmets that give you fire resistance for it. Because in the last 2 phases, the Dark King also has a pretty strong single target fire attack, and that usually one-shots Benjamin, your main character. And when you have the fire resistance, that one-shot is a 2-shot, which is much better.
There's our jumbo bombs.
Which is a decent upgrade. No, we didn't have we didn't even have bombs. So yeah, they are our bombs actually, which
that
means
unlocks stuff. That unlocks Wintry Cave. That unlocks full clearing the mine.
Yeah.
It's options now. Options are good.
Yeah, and we can do the bone dungeon too if our runners feel like it, which are a bunch of chests, and we already know that one chest behind the bombs in the room where Tristan gives you the item is a red chest. So you have 1 item guaranteed in the bone dungeon. Just waiting.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, we do actually have to beat Bone Dragon at some point.
Yeah. So our runners now have a lot of options, and I expect some kind of route divergence pretty soonish.
And I didn't talk about this at the time, but there is one more good reason to kind of stay out of Fireberg right now, which is not having any fire resistance. We don't have any right
definitely. The Djinn fight, as I said, it's still possible at the levels they acquired right now. So level 13 is pretty decent even without fire resistance for the Djinn fight. Most of the time the bosses in this flag setting roll their vanilla attacks, but sometimes not.
Hear me out. You go to Wintry Cave, get the Apollo helm, and then when we go back to fight the Djinn, now we have
that's great. That's a good play. Yeah, once you are in fire in Aquaria with Phoebe, you definitely dip into Wintry Cave, at least for the first room. If you go further, that's always a choice, and unfortunately, Xenoman ran out of seeds already. So, but it looks like he decides to go further in.
I don't think he bought very many the first time around. By the way, we got the
Gemini
Gemini crest
on
from
the battlefield.
It's not required, but it can speed up travel.
Yeah, and it also locks. Let me think. I think it's one item in the Alive Forest. One chest in the Alive Forest.
There's
That's
spell
blocked by it.
obtained.
And yeah, sometimes it's just this one check that holds the progression item. So better. It's easier for routing to have it early. You can travel fast between Fireberg and Aquaria, which is nice. And yeah, both runners actually decide to go deep into the Wintry Cave. Bit of a surprise for me. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's really personal choice. You have 6 chests in here, so it definitely can be worth it. And when you are here, why not do it? But yeah, it's a long road ahead, long walk back when you defeated the Squidtide. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think the runners are expecting this to be a long, drawn-out fight. And hey, maybe it's something. Seeds is more than nothing.
yeah, so far the seed didn't give them that much progress, that much stuff. They have good offense on the main character with the spells they collected, but they don't have the defense. At least not on all fronts they need. So yeah, maybe
Also,
they feel
to address a question in chat, to be in go mode, which is to get the sky coin, you can't get that sky coin till you save all 4 crystals. So you have to be all 4 bosses that are guarding a crystal: Flamosaurus Rex, Ice Golem, Pazuzu, and the whichever one I'm blanking out, Twin Head Wyvern. You're gonna have to beat all 4 of those to get your sky coin to be in go mode. So that is required today.
Oh. Unfortunately, Xenoman doesn't know the shortcut through the fall basin here. So he takes a bit of a detour. It's a small detour, but yeah, it's a bit of a time loss if therpgchick knows her way around here.
Setup that had no fights. He didn't lose anything for that.
You can do just in that case. I think you could have gone with the speedrun stretchers, and then you just walk into the waterfall for a quick check and go to the crab. But it's just a small detour. It's a couple of seconds that you lose from doing it the way he did it. But yeah.
Right. I started it for the
that's gonna play.
No mirror means you're not going to be able to see the encounters. But when in doubt, just walk the most direct path, because that's where the monsters were by default, so it's where they're most likely to get moved from.
Yeah. therpgchick go deep in. It seems like they want to defeat the boss. Not a bad idea, and yeah, she goes for the fast route, which is just go basically the standard route and do a few go up and down a bit here and there, and then you see all the items that are obtainable from the first floor. So you don't have to go around in the first floor, and what Xenoman unfortunately is doing right now. therpgchick will save some time over him here because of more efficient routing. And when she sees that there's an item, she can go exactly where she needs to go afterwards, after defeating the boss, because she has all she needs. They have all they need for the Ice Golem fight.
Which is to say, flare and a claw.
Yeah. If you have flare, this fight is just completely free. It's usually a 2-shot. If Phoebe throws in a few fire spells, it's definitely a 2-round kill.
Charm Claw, so technically an upgrade, but kind of meh. But Sun Coin opens up a lot of things, including Phoebe too.
Did Xenoman go into the Wintry Cave with Phoebe, or did he miss that?
Still rocking Ruben there.
Yeah, I think, I don't recall him going back to Fireberg and getting him again. So maybe he just wants Ruben with him, but it's also more efficient just to have even Phoebe 1. Even Phoebe 1 is more efficient in the ice pyramid here because of her AoE spells than Ruben is, even though Ruben is technically a bit stronger.
Yeah, this is a good time to get Phoebe 1 and then just go get Phoebe 2.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted Ruben for the crab fight. Ruben is very useful for the crab fight because the crab is weak to X attacks. And his Morningstar basically counts as an X.
And since we haven't mentioned this yet, the way you unlock second form of characters is to get the item from the first form. So you can't get Phoebe 2 until you do this, get the Thunder spell. Now you can get Phoebe 2.
Now he just needs to get rid of Phoebe, and that's another thing that you have to route in when trying to get those second forms. You first have to get rid of the character.
Use it. He should have Gemini crest over to Fireberg.
Yeah, that would be an option, for example, exactly. Exactly. That in one of my practice seats I did exactly what he did here, and I just slapped my head for that one. Sometimes you're just in autopilot mode, and then you don't think about that, and then you sit there in Windia with 3v1, and you just ask yourself what the hell you are doing. Yeah, that's really unfortunate for xenoman.
Also, by the way, murder jerks.
Yeah, and I didn't see so sleep and confusion. What kind of moveset is that one?
All of the nasty moves are on these jerks.
No. Yeah, I always try to wonder which enemies they traded their moves with. Yeah, I don't know which one exactly. That is probably something of Pazuzu's tower. Maybe the Nagas there. This could be sleep and confusion.
therpgchick did get through it, and there's a couple more boxes to look at on this floor.
Yeah. And now she goes down. She didn't get this much chest, but they probably will get it after the boss fight. And vanilla red chest down here.
Yeah, that treasure hoard room, there's just no real reason to do it before.
But no vanilla night sword in it. And yeah, since they already had the Titan's X, this X is pretty useless. Now he caught up of his small mistake and trades Phoebe to Tristram, which is totally fine. Tristram doesn't need to fight anything on
and
the way.
You're here, it's a good time to buy more seeds.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah,
Thank you, xenoman. You were reading my mind.
He agrees. But just a few. I would definitely.
You have a ton of money, and you want to be able to afford the Windia vendor item.
Well, he had 1,200. So when your vendor, so it's really essential to memorize the prices of the vendors if you run this randomizer, because that obviously affects your money routing big time. So the Aquario vendor is 200 GP, the Fireberg is 500, and the Windia is 300. So he could have bought seats for 900, which would have been 18, and that's all he would probably need it for the rest of the run.
Excalibur was behind the ice golems, so therpgchick has a big old sword.
Yeah, Excalibur is always a nice find. It's decent damage. It's the only weapon that really does decent damage. It also gives the speed bonus, so it's good to fight normal enemies from time to time. In this flag setting, we have normal enemies at a scaling range from 50% to 125%, so it's expected that most enemies will roll down. And that means with the Excalibur, you are pretty likely to one-shot the Beholders and the Oozes in the Windia area, so, which have auto-reflect on them and can't be affected by spells. So it's always a nice find.
Cap was for sale in Windia, so very, very required although not absolutely urgent, but we've got an experienced battlefield and a blue battlefield over here. Gotta imagine Xenoman is gonna want to pick up both of those as RPG-chick picks up a big shield.
Should definitely do both. In most cases it's really good to fight those windier battlefields because they give a ton of experience. Anyways, and if you have an experience reward or an item reward, it's highly recommend doing those. If you have money battlefields there and you don't need the money anymore when you reach it, then it can be an option to skip it. But otherwise, I would always fight those because the experience is really worth it.
Alright, so Bone Dungeon Dive for Xenoman.
Ooh, and that's a big one.
Which is not bad.
That's a really big one. That's and we are still relatively early in the run. There's still a bunch of dungeons left, and yeah, Xenoman will have a big advantage for not having to backtrack a lot anymore. And we will see when RPG-chick decide to visit the Bone Dungeon again.
And this may be the time, having the Aquaria area finished off, but no, gonna
She
go for there.
seems to make the same mistake, unfortunately. Because I don't know a reason to move here to a Phoebe 1 and then go back. So it probably a small routing mistake in the heat of the moment, probably. So yeah, both of them have to track back to Fireberg probably and
I think
get
I would guess
someone
the
else.
RPG-chick is just thinking about these early, easy checks, like what can I see in the forest, not the tree.
This forest dive can work out really well, but I would always try to get exit first. I mean, sometimes you just have to dive it, and because you are running out of options. But if you have options left, then I would definitely wait for the exit spell, because it's also a big backtrack that you have to do when you're done with this one here. Especially if you go into the tree, which, if you are here already, then you can also check the first floor of the tree. And yeah, that will be a bit of time waste going back once they are done here.
And Flamosaurus is down for Xenoman. We got a red box check coming up over here on the right side.
That's really cool. He picks up
it?
some... Oh, that's good. He found refreshers.
Gaia armor.
And Gaia armor. Gaia armor is nice to have. It's not recommended. It doesn't help you at all in the Dark King fight, which is the most difficult boss fight in this flag setting. So it's not as important as, for example, the helmet or the shield. So Aegis shield and Moon helmet or Apollo helmet are much more important than Gaia armor.
No,
but it's nice to have for the Pazuzu fight, definitely.
Plus the random encounters with the nasty status attacks that can help.
Yeah, it gives you immunity to sleep, which is really good against the standard enemies. So now we are doing the mine. Okay.
Yep, I'm all on board with this. He's got the fire resistance. He's got the bombs to full clear the place. You're only coming here once, and you're exiting out when you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing where where his routing will get a bit messed up. So, and that's why I was a big fan of doing the mine early, because now if he wants to get this item, he has to trade back for Ruben. To get Ruben's item, he has to come in here later with Ruben again, and then he has to get Phoebe 2 again. So it's a bit it messes up his routing. He will backtrack a lot because of that.
He also didn't check the other areas, so he didn't get the. If the mega grenades are here, then he's not rescuing Ruben's dad as early as he could. So I like to check the items first on the way to...
If he finds the mega grenades in one of the mine chests here, then he will kick his butt, definitely. Which, as I said earlier, we have 4 checks in here, and yeah, he sees that. Yeah, he takes a long way. Unfortunately, that's also a pretty big detour. It's way faster to just exit out of here.
But he's got to do these other checks. You can't leave them behind.
Yeah, but it's they are easier to access from the start. So you just exit out after the Jin fight, and then go back in. It's much faster because he still has this room at the top of the start, where that he needs to check after this one here.
And nothing there.
So if he did that, he would just exit out then after this check here, and then yeah, it's really much faster then. So he has a lot of additional walking, and the RPG chick decide to go for the bone dungeon, which means the exit advantage, and he doesn't even use it. Oh, xenoman, use your exit spell. Come on. Yeah, the exit advantage will only last a very short time.
Because RPG chick has it now.
Exactly. And now we are going to see what Lava Dome holds for us. So you can check every box of this dungeon without having the mega grenades, but you can't reach every box of this dungeon without the mega grenades. So you can always go in here without them, look if there's something there behind them. If not, then you're totally fine and Lava Dome done. If yes, you know where to look once you get them. So it's a good play to make this once you feel comfortable fighting the dual-head Hydra. It has a lot of boxes in it, so a lot of checks, usually a lot of items. And
Xeno should be just fine against the twin head Hydra at this point. I mean, everything is there to do it.
Unfortunately, he is not so proficient with the exit spell, using it to save some backtracking. And he looks unsure where to go. Okay, he can you can go there. He just missed the check though. On the end of that ladder, before the entry to the cave, there is a box that he didn't check yet. So we hope for him that there is no item there.
Yeah, and another crystal is restored, this time for the RPG chick.
And he checks the back end first and gets rewarded for it. So, but just with the moon hammer. He already had the Apollo hammer, so he doesn't get any benefits from that. There's another item in here.
Lava Dome is loaded.
Lava Dome is loaded, as usual. Yeah, it's a big It's one of the biggest dungeons in the game. It might even be the dungeon with the most chests in the game. This one or the tree, I would say, have the most chests in it.
Blizzard spell would have been nice earlier, maybe not so much now.
Yeah, there are some specific cases where the Blizzard spell actually has worse for you. So in Pazuzu's tower there is a Thanatos encounter which has a beholder in it, so you can't use your big wizard spells on this encounter. Because it will be reflected by the beholder onto you and deal a lot of damage to you. So the other two enemies that are in this fight are actually weak to the Blizzard spell. So since you need a single target option to clear them out first, it might come in handy to have it there. And Phoebe 2 has it too, so...
Magic Mirror and Liba Crest, both not required for our runners. But
yeah, but...
recording.
Did they do the Ice Pyramid already? I think yes, yeah, they did.
Ice Pyramid, yes.
Yeah, Xeno didn't do it yet.
Correct.
What? Yeah, he opted out. He had Tristan with him, room with him, and opted out of it.
RPG Chick is doing a couple of these experience battlefields, which you don't normally see at this point. But these are short battlefields. This is 1 and 2 to get that.
I think if they had one fight, I would have liked it. 2 is already a bit much, and they have a decent advantage, so it might not lose them the race here. But in a closer race or in a close race, and we don't know if this race still can get close. If some fights go wrong for one of the runners, then the other can catch up pretty easily. And we have Mobius crests. So now we have all the quests we need to travel between the towns. Or we have basically therpgchick have all the quests in the game, so they can do everything. Somewhere they also picked up the Libra quest.
Little hidden check here. This is a good one to get in. It's just a steel shield, though.
It's always nice to have it when you are there anyways. It's always a pain to just go back to Aquaria, into the Aquaria section just for the Libra check.
This feels like the time for therpgchick to go back to Fireberg, and this may be a warp to right there.
Yeah. So they still didn't get Phoebe 2, but with the mobiles quest they have an easy way, and with the exit spell too, they have an easy way traversing from Aquaria right to Windia. So yeah, they get just another character, trade Phoebe 2 away, and then pick her up, trade Phoebe away and pick her up again in Windia.
Yeah, but here I would think therpgchick is going to get Ruben and go do the mine.
Right, they didn't do the mine yet. Yeah, that's better.
There's the tree wither hanging out in the lava dome, because again, this place is loaded.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's really interesting. I must say the seed is really, really, really interesting. There were a lot of routing options. In the end, both runners decided to go for the same or very similar route at least. And that's intriguing to me a bit, because I would have done a lot of things differently probably when I would run the seed. And that I find very funny, that both runners just went, whoa, we have a reset.
That surprises me a little.
Was this a misclick or was this intended? I wonder, because
maybe just totally decided to change the routing and go for the Jin first.
Yeah, but exit spell is always faster.
Based on where she saved.
Exit spell is always faster than resetting, so I don't know why, but yeah, probably a mistake. Don't know if she runs on a console or if they use an emulator. Yeah, we will probably maybe know after the race, but yeah, it's not a big deal. They lost probably a bunch of seconds to that, but not a big deal. And now we see if Dual Head Hydra is here to fight or just to die.
Alright, so xenoman has made more crystal progress, especially once you get this fight in the book. But therpgchick is going to have an extra check involved by clearing out the Jin fight with Ruben. We're going to see what that Ruben item is. And if it's the Mega Grenades, then it's a double advantage.
Mm-hmm. At this point, we only need the Dragon Claw and the Mega Grenades for Go mode. And therpgchick are also pretty much it's an elixir, which makes the routing really nice now, because they can go back to Foresta, do Kaylee stuff, and then come back, then go to Windia and pick up Phoebe 2, and then they are done with character trading.
No tree wither yet, though. That's in the lava dome.
Right, they don't have the wither yet. Yeah, you are right, that's in the lava dome. I was totally ahead of myself. So now I'm curious. They want to go with Room 2 for the lava dome.
Go do lava dome, and you're done over here. Fireberg's done completely after this.
Mm-hmm. They go with Room 2 for the lava dome, which is a choice.
We do this, and then the only thing that possibly sends you back to Fireberg is if Ruben's dad has the Dragon Claw.
Yeah. That could still be a thing, but otherwise, yeah. xenoman actually, I said earlier that therpgchick have a lead, but when I look at it, it's probably rather even, or even a slight advantage for xenoman now, because he went through these fights pretty smoothly.
xenoman just has to go clean up Aquaria now, and that shouldn't take particularly long with the setup. It should be pretty solid. All the gear is there, the levels are obviously there, and Phoebe 2 is there.
Yeah, I mean he has VB2 already, so
Yes, but VB2 for Aquaria is faster than VB1 for
yeah,
Aquaria, is what I'm
obviously
saying.
yes. But he goes for the Kaylee play. But he doesn't have the elixir, so that's just one check for him, unfortunately. So Kaylee is the only character that gives you 2 items. One she gives you after you defeat the Minotaur here, and one she gives you in Windia after you cured her with the elixir. Yeah. Unfortunately, Xenomana only has one of these key items for her, so he will only be able to get the. Yeah, just attack him.
Whenever possible, I like to make my decisions in advance. If this is Mega Grenades, I'm going to free Rubinstad.
Yeah, but it's
the
a Dragon Claw.
though. Rubinstad will not be required.
Yeah.
He could still be a troll and have the Aegis shield, but that's
no. Somewhere therpgchick already picked up the Aegis shield.
Oh.
I didn't see where it was.
For Xenoman, at least.
Yeah, for Xenoman it can still be a thing. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, defense-wise, this seed is very nice to our runners. They only lack the life spell to have a really smooth stacking, well, as smooth as it gets at least, stacking fight.
And you can't do this with no ally, right?
You can do it.
That's not what he's gonna do, is it?
He can. He's pretty well equipped for it. If he didn't have the flare spell, I would say might not be the greatest choices, but his defense.
Random encounters. This is slower.
Yeah, the biggest. Ooh, and he decides to bomb them. No, this is not.
Yeah, that's his fastest play. 2 turns to kill them instead of 3 turns.
No. You have the flare spell. Just flare.
He's lower on seeds. I can see maybe not getting away with that, but again,
yeah, he has
that wouldn't be an issue.
He has 4 slots per seed, so how many fights will he get before the Ice Golem? He doesn't have the mirror, so maybe 8 or maybe 10, so 2 or 3 seeds required for this dungeon. Okay, now he opts out.
Yeah,
I think I fear Xenoman got a bit caught up in his routing here, and that's really unfortunate because he was in a good position so far. As I said, he didn't look too far behind. Even if he could be considered behind. But now...
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He doesn't have to go back and do Ice Pyramid right now. Anyways, he's still got that battlefield right there.
And he even could do...
his tower here. That's
exactly. He even could do just Pazuzu's tower right now, since he's already here.
So if the last thing you did is Ice Pyramid, that's not really a loss.
And yeah, again, therpgchick also being a bit stingy with their spell usages, pardon. They definitely have enough seeds. They bought over 30, so they should just throw out these wizard spells to one-shot these enemies, in my opinion, and not deal with any weapon attacks here.
Now, if Ruben's got it covered for you, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. You always kind of underestimate how much time you waste in normal enemy battles in this game when you're not using the most efficient strategies, and how little time you lose actually on menuing in comparison to that. So these turns take a lot. You have a lot of text boxes, you have the attack animations of the enemies, you have the attack animations of your weapons. That really costs a lot of time. And therefore, saving a turn or 2 just per fight adds up massively.
Tree weather located for therpgchick, and Xenoman is doing something different. He's going...
That's a really out of the box play. It can pay up big time if that's successful, because that's one of the last locations you usually check.
As far as we're concerned, there's nothing left, though, right? Except the armor would be the last thing we could get.
We could get a Mega Grenade.
Okay, that's true.
It's the last item that's necessary for solving this puzzle. So, if that's here, then I don't expect RPG-chick to check this until it's the last thing available to them. So
before Great Tree, but yeah, it's close to the bottom.
No, well, obviously it's just depending on how you view it, but in this flag setting, the tree is, in my opinion, much more attractive to check than Mount Gale, because Mount Gale only has 3 items on it, and still it's a rather long walk. One item is guaranteed. One item you only see after you have the Dullahan fight done, which is quite a long boss fight and can be pretty trolly with the Doom Dance attack if he rolls into his vanilla attack settings. So I would rather recommend to avoid this fight as long as possible, because it's a very few checks, it's a hard boss fight, and in the tree you have a ton of chests in there. Even in the higher, floors, there are a lot of chests. And you can check the chest behind Ghidorah, that's guarded by Ghidorah, before even fighting him.
Okay, counterpoint. This is a weird one. If you feel like you're up against somebody who's going to execute the game faster than you, the way you get an advantage is to go do something they're not going to do.
And that's why
there is a strategy element to this play that makes sense.
I totally agree on that one. And that's why I didn't call it a bad play, but an out-of-the-box play. Because it's not the play you would normally do, but it can pay off big time. And if you feel your mechanics are a bit inferior than the ones of your opponents, then it's definitely a good way to just go all in, basically, and say, okay, we roll the dice. If I win, then go big or go home. And yeah, if it pays off. As I said, it could be the Mega Grenades, and RPG-chick will most likely be check this location very late. So if he wins with this choice, then it's a big win for him.
Now, the play I would have liked the most would have been Pazuzu's Tower, because it's required anyways. So when we know stuff's missing and we have a required dungeon, that's 2 reasons to go there.
Yeah, and the Mega Grenades are not even the last item he needs for Gomod, because he didn't pick up the Mobius quest yet. So he is not even that close to Gomod to say, okay, if I just manage to get this last item, then I can Gomod Pazuzu's Tower, which is a bit faster than having to check all chests there. But he's not in that position yet, so yeah, you're totally right. I think that would have been a much more efficient play.
And Hydro down for RPG-chick. Dullahan still giving Xenoman a little bit of the business here.
Yeah, as I said, this boss fight can be really hard.
So,
even
honestly,
though he has...
if you're going to attack, use the Dragon Claw here. You got a chance to stun him.
Right, yeah, he's weak to Paralyze. Yeah, he's really low on seeds, unfortunately. He decided to not stock up as much as he should and could, and that makes this fight even worse. Unless Phoebe dies now, that still should be a done deal now, hopefully. He only has 4 seats left.
He has up to 21,000 HP, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, something like that, yeah. Definitely a high number, and yeah. And he has some nasty resistances too. He's resistant to fire, which means flare doesn't work on him that well. You probably need meteor or white to deal big damage, and he only gets a box of refreshers. Refreshers are actually quite good to have for the Dark King fight, because in the first phase the Dark King can reduce your character's defense, and he can do it several times. So he can move the one-shot ranges of his attacks in the later phases by reducing your defense in the first phase. And if you have some refreshers with you, you can just redo that and restore your defense after the first phase.
Coming to the Great Tree, and as weird as this is for me to say, I'm kind of hoping he does the whole thing. Like, I hope this is a gamble play and he's doing the whole thing. Otherwise, I just so much more would have liked to see him go do Pazuzu's tower.
Yeah. What we have even left here for checks? So where our mega grenades could be, because the map is getting pretty small at this point.
Yeah, there are the crest warps here.
Yeah. I don't think anyone check the cage temple, which is the one after the tree on the world map.
The Wakewater one, therpgchick did go there.
No, it's in the vineyard area. It's between the tree and the battlefield. therpgchick is right now. Did anyone check this? Because there are also 2 chests there.
I think so, just because therpgchick is very good about going and looking at those.
Yeah, okay. Then they probably checked it. These are the locations that you kinda, especially if you are new to the randomizer, that you kinda like to forget about. And yeah, as I said, this temple has 2 checks. The Windhold temple has 1 check here in the Windier area. And yeah, sometimes you have the progression just there. Otherwise, we have the tree left. We have what else do we have left? Pazuzu's tower and the chip.
Of course, you can't get to the ship without the Mobius crest, so that's...
And without the mega grenades, and yeah, that means probably tree of Pazuzu's tower for the mega grenades.
And arrow spell. So therpgchick is in Pazuzu's tower. There's at least one red box to be had.
And yeah, she I don't even know. I just do it for fun. But do you have to save Norma in the randomizer, or is it mandatory? Is it not mandatory?
Just a question if you want it to be a valid run or if you're a heartless monster.
Yeah, I agree totally with that. I wasn't, as I said, I never tried to go without it, so I don't know, didn't even know, because I do it for fun, because what a heartless monster would leave this small child in this big tower full of monsters. So yeah, therpgchick checked the floor 1 items, which is a good play, and you should always do is just go up a bit, and then you see on the left side 4 boxes, which can be a red chest. Then she saved Norma, and now she just climbs the tower to floor 7 before she will go down again. And she will go down to floor 1 because she saw a red chest there.
Maybe we can lobby Wildham for an incentive save Norma flag.
That's
not necessarily a key item, but maybe she could like hand 10 seeds, and then you got value.
Yeah, maybe that would be fun. That's really unfortunate that Phoebe got blinded here, because as I said, the Beholder makes it so that you can't use your wizard spell as long as it's alive. And to solve this puzzle, how to efficiently fight this formation, these sorcerers here are actually weak to Phoebe's bow attack. So in most cases in this flag setting, she one-shots them with her normal attack, but if she is blinded, she has a really high chance to miss. And therefore this was really unfortunate for therpgchick. And we have a floor 6 Pazuzu, but I don't think she will fight him now. Or will she?
Yeah, putting the saves in.
They decide to go for it. Okay, this is not the best thing to do, because Pazuzu will take you up to floor 7 again after you defeat him. So in order to get the item out of floor 1, they will need to go back down then again. It's a bit of a detour after the fight. Otherwise, but maybe if they decide, because yeah, probably I'm wrong. I just realized how wrong I was. No, it's actually a good play, because the detour is much bigger, obviously, to go back from floor 1 to here, to floor 6. So it was a good play, and I probably would have done the bad play here and go down first and then defeat Pazuzu, but yeah. I learned a lot. These are the things that you sometimes don't even realize, even though it's pretty obvious. Or it should be pretty obvious, yeah.
But
So, good play.
About 18 to 20 spell casts to get this Pazuzu down.
Yeah.
If he rolled max HP.
He has, how much does he have? 22,000 on vanilla?
Vanilla is 25. I'm sorry, no. Vanilla is 25,000, which is the low end of what it could do under these flags, and then the high end
25.
37,500.
Yeah, it can be a really long fight, and it can be pretty nasty because scaling doesn't only mean HP, but also a bit of attack and defense. So he can roll up a bit high on attacks, and then his attacks will deal even a bit more damage than usual, and then his, for example, the Fiat Pile Driver crit can do work against you, but his HP at least rolled pretty low this time.
He's also weak to bow, so Phoebe's regular attacks will do decent damage. It's a little worse than white though, so you don't really do that.
Her normal attacks do around 800 something, and if she crits, she will do up to 1,750 damage. 1,750, yeah. So she can do massive damage even if his Psych Shield is up, and therpgchick having the Aero spell also means that it's a bit nicer to navigate with your seeds through the fight.
That felt like a little bit lower Pazuzu, so...
Yeah, that felt...
Level 20. Lots of things good here.
I think they are in a great position. They just need the Mega Grenades, and then they're good to go.
And there's still that red box that we know about in this tower, so therpgchick will presumably go for that now.
Yeah, and there might be other red boxes too. I don't know what's left in the weapon and in the spell department. On the tracker, everything is full, but there might be some low-tier weapon or some spell, some wizard spell, some black magic spell that's still left in the pool.
Yeah, I think there's one more accessory out there.
Yeah,
we didn't one shield.
Yeah, right. I didn't see the Venus shield yet, and we didn't see the charm.
And I don't think we've had the cure spell.
That's also pretty useless in the randomizer most of the time. Because...
I agree, but we were talking about what's in the pool.
Yeah, of course. I just... because most people might think, yeah, cure spell, that's really cool, but the biggest and most important use of the cure spell was to glitch out the Dark King, and that's patched out in the randomizer here. So, yeah, cure spell is not very useful anymore.
Battle Axe from that red box.
Yeah, these are the pretty useless weapons that are still in the pool. And we get Mega Grenades.
There it is. Go mode.
Go mode and Dark King mode, basically. Just blow up the tunnel here, and then...
Well, not just. You're going to check this warp, I think, and you're going to look on Max Chip just to see if the armor is there.
Do they have a life spell yet? No, they don't have the life spell. So, they definitely would like a few red boxes on the ship now. I saw one red box in the focus tower right before the entrance to Doom Castle, so there's one last chance for the life spell to be. But I think they definitely would like to see some red boxes here on the ship that they could check for, because life spell makes the Dark King fight much more safer.
Xenoman gets past the Ice Golem and gets that Excalibur. Still has to fight Pazuzu though, so a crystal advantage now for therpgchick.
Yeah, it's one dungeon advantage, and it's not the fastest dungeon, so I think if they decide to go, which they do, for the Dark King fight now, they check a bit, yeah. They know they want this life spell, and yeah, that might take a while if they don't find it here. It's a chance for Xeno to catch up a bit. Also, you have to be careful not to fall into these cracks. Unfortunately, no life spell on the ship, and as I said, there was one last check right before the entrance to Doom Castle here. So last chance for... they don't have the cure spell, they don't have the life spell, and there might be another spell or weapon in the pool still, so it's not guaranteed.
Without that life spell, part of me is saying, let's go get level 22. Let's compensate for the difference a little bit.
Yeah, that could be a good option. I did one practice run before this the stream here, and I was in a similar position than therpgchick. I didn't have the life spell. I tried to get it. I tried a few checks before going here, but didn't find it and didn't want to do big check anymore. And I went in with level 21, and it's really painful. And it's only no armor. Yeah. It's really painful to fight the last two phases without the life spell, because you have to be much more careful. You have to defend a lot more with the main character. And yeah, it will be a hard fight. They have definitely at least one death free over Xeno, so probably at one death I would say is free. A second one might be
also coming in here without the life spell. It's not been found, so it's either Ruben's dad or the Great Tree.
Yeah. In the seed I mentioned that I played before, I even didn't have the Aegis shield and the helmet, so I went to the tree. Even though I was in go mode, I was ready to go for Doom Castle. I also had level 21. But I decided to go into the tree to get a bit more defense. I found the shield and the helmet there, and then I went without the life spell, which is reasonable if you have only one of the defensive options you want, which is, as I said, the helmet, the shield, and the Cupid Locket plus the life spell. One of these four is missing is fine. It will just make the fight a bit harder. If you miss two or more of these, the fight becomes incredibly risky. I mean, you can still roll the dice again and say, yeah, just bank on good RNG and it will be fine. But the chances of dying are super high.
Let's look at this from Xeno's perspective. He doesn't have the life spell, he's a couple levels low, doesn't have the noble armor, and he needs mega grenades for sure, and would certainly like the life spell.
Yeah.
Most checks there is to find those two or three things, and it makes a lot of sense from his perspective.
Yeah, definitely, and depending on how this fight goes here for therpgchick, it could even pay off still. If this
red box, oh baby!
So he will probably go a bit further up and check the other items that are in here. Yeah, maybe not, or maybe he doesn't know where to go. I don't know exactly. If he wants to go up, he needs to go there, yeah. Meanwhile, on therpgchick's side of things, she's in the second phase of the Duckwing, and from what I've seen, he rolled for low HP values, so these phase changes
well, in the first two phases, his pull is the same regardless, so honestly, he'd rather the beefier first two phases to make it be not so much, I think, when you get to 3 and 4.
Yeah. So
it would be nicer for you if it does it that way.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes. She's not one-shot by the spiders, that's good. And yeah, she goes for the safe strat. If you want to play it super risky, you can throw in a few white spells here and there with Phoebe, but it's not recommended really. The chances of dying then are really high. And
yeah, I don't think you can take risks here without the life spell. You gotta play one of the safest fights you can. Plus, if you've got the race timer up, you're looking and seeing, okay, they're not done, so at worst, we're on this fight together.
And yeah, now this becomes really complicated. Okay, she didn't get lasered, they didn't get lasered, that's really good. So that's the death combo, basically, even if you play safe, even if you have the life spell. Petrify on Phoebe and then laser on Benjamin at this level means wipe. Can't do anything about that. And yeah, without the life spell, you just have to defend a bit more on certain combos when Phoebe gets after Phoebe gets petrified. But yeah, otherwise it should be fine. Level 20 is usually the threshold to not get one-shot by the spiders, and we are going into the last phase.
Oh, Phoebe, why didn't you cure?
Because she is
Well,
not...
she cured Ben.
Yeah, exactly. This is the play you have to do. It's exactly the right play for therpgchick. When you are at this position with Phoebe, you have to defend with Benjamin. Otherwise, ducking could just flare Phoebe and one-shot her, and then you are in big trouble.
Yeah, the problem was it cost therpgchick a turn because she
Yeah,
heal because
that's the cost of not having the life spell here.
And GG!
Yeah. And it's over. GG. Congratulations to the therpgchick. They go on after this 2-0 victory to the next round.
With a 109.18. Really good time for this being a little trolly on the item placement.
Yeah, I think they did a great job routing this out. A few hiccups here and there, but overall a really good job. And in the end, a very comfortable win.
Yeah, xenoman still has to finish Pazuzu's tower before going on to Dark King, but should be in good shape once getting to Dark King with that life spell, which, if you're curious, therpgchick was in the Great Trip.
Hello and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still shaking a little bit from that Dark King fight.
Yeah, ducking without the life spell is always a bit risky, and but I think the HP value was not that high, which comes in handy if you are in that position, and yeah, you also handled it pretty well.
I got really lucky on the only time that Phoebe got petrified, so...
Yeah.
Was there a cure spell somewhere? Either? Not that
Great
that
tree.
didn't help much.
Great Tree
No.
had life and cure.
Ah,
Are you
cure too.
serious? I hate that tree.
Well, at that point, it had to either be Tree or Ruben's dad.
I guess that's true, yeah. I didn't check Snow Crab, so I didn't know if it was there, so...
There wasn't an item as usual, so
No, that's the case. Yeah, that's why I usually don't check it.
yeah, I agree on that one. And yeah, the funny thing is, even though the seats opened up quite big after a few minutes, you two basically went for the same places in the same order. So it in the end came down just who did the more efficient routing and the somewhat better fights. What made you decide, for example, not doing the mine early?
I didn't have a level I was comfortable with at that point. Jin can be really nasty with fire magic.
And yeah,
There's
we see
Mega
Xenoman.
Grenades go mode for Xenoman.
Yeah, now he picks up the Mega Grenades.
Having those mega grenades be down there on the first floor was it was like the last jab of the scene.
I mean, that could have been worse. It
Oh,
could
it
have
can always
been.
be worse.
One thing that Xenoman did, you didn't, and could have ruined your day, would be Mega Grenades, for example, after Dullahan.
Oh yeah, unless I really am hurting for items, I do not go.
Yeah, and that's probably the expected result. I think Xenoman tried to cut a corner there and get an edge by doing that. And yeah, could have turned the race just upside down at this point, but yeah, I think it was the item position here in Pazuzu's tower is somewhat reasonable still, and made up a really nice route actually through the game, I think.
Oh, well, thank you. I try to follow the items as best as I can, but when things go wide open like that, it becomes a little bit difficult for sure. But
So-
now I have to overcome Fred, and that is going to be a big challenge because he is very good at this randomizer.
Xenoman unfortunately missed a switch here, which makes him running after Pazuzu a bit.
Well, Pazuzu is the jerkbird of jerkbirds.
Definitely.
Always.
So, what's your kind generally on this? Is your view generally on the seat? Any problems in the fights?
Not really. I had a surprisingly good Pazuzu and Dark King fight, which both are usually areas of major RNG, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to count over that many attacks, but it seemed like Dark King was pretty close to vanilla HP.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it, and I was grateful about that.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer, not equalizing today. But I mean, it's also nice to have a seat where Dark King doesn't ruin your day. Yeah, oh, he missed the floor 6. Good. Oh. Well, here we go for Xenoman Pazuzu fight, which was also pretty low HP from what I saw in your fight.
A healthy
Yeah.
amount because Pazuzu just starts with so much, but
Yeah.
did
Oh,
get super trolly.
That first phase was a little after that wasn't so bad.
Also getting a little bit lower spell rolls by having the axe equipped instead of the dragon claw.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is at these levels, we're not outspeeding the last bosses to get the extra spells from the sword, so it's worth it to just have the claw on for the extra damage.
And I mean, the outspeeding really only matters when you want to heal or when you one-shot enemies, so it's always better to have just a claw
Yeah.
for the damage.
Nice crit from the arrows, though.
That's the 1000 damage crit. And Pazuzu answers with a pile driver crit, with the highly feared pile driver crits that ended many speedruns. Or at least
just barely
this
survived.
game.
But that's okay, you're in it still. Also, he does have the life spells, so this is
Yeah,
fairly low risk.
much safer. So yeah, if you recap the route, we had pretty decent early captain set. We had early Sandcoin actually, which what then made both of you go to Aquaria. And yeah, since you didn't do the mine early, you just couldn't do them later. But you decided to go for the lava dome with Ruben instead of Phoebe 2. What made you do that?
Fire resistance.
Ah, okay.
And especially because it's Ruben too, so you still have the white spell at your disposal. It doesn't do as much damage as Phoebe would do, but having the fire resistance on Ruben is kind of nice for that fight, and I'm liking bringing him there.
Yeah, one thing I would always consider is that Phoebe has, besides having a bit more damage, that she can AoE heal, which is sometimes nice if he likes to nuke you with fire attacks in the first
for
phase.
For sure.
So that was what surprised me a bit, otherwise, yeah.
Sometimes I'll even bring Kelly 2 to this fight if I notice that he's got a lot of Petrify ambition.
Actually, that's...
Close there and gone, so Xenoman has finished his last of the crystal bosses.
he's definitely good to go now to Dark King 2. And yeah, the idea of Kaylee is actually not too bad. Phoebe has the advantage in the normal enemy fights in the tower, and she is resistant to the wind attack. So it's always, you lose a bit here and you gain a bit there.
Yeah, it depends on how Petrify happy Pazuzu is in the seed. I've had some pretty nasty Petrify RNG.
Okay, he got it. He did things in a different order, so he already had the mega grenades.
Yeah.
I was worried for a second there.
Yeah. He took a bit of sightseeing in Pazuzu's tower and took a bit more turns with Pazuzu, but yeah, he got there in the end. And now he will also clear the ship. I don't think there were that many fights in front of Captain Mac. And then he's good to go to fight Dark King.
Yeah, I don't know how many times it takes to do Pazuzu's tower before you get comfortable with all the switches, but I am not there yet.
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot if you practice a bit for the speedrun.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing the speedrun makes that a lot easier.
Since I came from any percent speedrun to the randomizer, what I needed to learn first were all the branches locations. That took quite a while for me.
And the Fireberg maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only benefit I had because I ran Hundo.
Yeah.
I knew at least where the red chests were in Fireberg.
Red chest I also knew, but brown chest took a while, especially in Lava Dome.
Oh yeah, not to mention the ones randomly in the forest where the tree is.
And yeah, a live forest too. So yeah, we have this last normal enemy fight here, and then good to go for Dark King. If you don't go directly to Dark King, it's a little hint to everyone running this randomizer or the game. And anyways, you get healed immediately before the Dark King fight, so you don't need to heal up after these fights you do before the Dark King. You don't need to use seeds. You get just a full heal right before the fight.
And you get that nice box with a whole bunch of seeds in it, so
Yep.
you'll be in good shape for the Dark King fight.
One thing you don't get in that floor is refreshers, and as I said, it can be helpful to have some refreshers with you for the Dark King fight. If he gives you a defense down twice onto Benjamin, it can be a bit tricky. So, Dark King fight for Xeno.
And check and enjoy the music one more time.
So, Spark is good opener for you. So, in the first phase, we can talk a bit about the Dark King fight since we have a bit of time now. So what he can do. So, in the first phase, he has 4 attacks. One is Spark, which deals no damage but reduces your attack. That doesn't matter since you only throw spells at him. The other one is Iron Nail. That reduces your defense actually, which is not nice. Then he has this Stare attack, which would paralyze you, but both characters are immune to that. And then he can deal around 500 damage with the last attack in the first phase.
Also mentioned this should go a bit faster for Xenoman because of that life spell. He can afford to be more aggressive in the fight.
Especially in the second phase, the life spell pays off big time because you have some situations here where you just go with an attack from Phoebe, and if he hits her, then you can revive her in the same turn. And that way, if you attack more Phoebes and you don't need as many seeds, etc., etc., it's helpful and it makes the fight much more safer. In the second turn, he can use this Cure Bow attack. He has a bunch of single target nukes. One goes up to way over 800 damage, which one-shots Benjamin usually. And the other ones are between 600 and 800. And he has also an AoE Quake attack, which is a little bit below 500 damage onto both characters here.
This didn't seem like a particularly long phase 2. We should be near the end of it.
Yeah. Here you see fire attack 700. Even though his attacks in this phase are called like after certain elements, they don't have the elemental properties, so your resistances don't work here. Here we have the Quake attack, yeah. A bit over 500 onto Phoebe. But yeah, it's usually around 500.
Now this is a great place to be in with the phase change coming.
Yeah, that's a really bad phase change for Xeno. Unfortunately, he's not in good shape. Because he played it a bit risky and probably didn't expect Dark King to phase change. So now Phoebe gets one shot. That's one.
Yeah,
and now he's probably wiped.
There's
There's no chance. There isn't a single attack that saves him here. So in this third phase, Dark King begins to really turn up the heat. He has only nasty attacks left at this point. He has a flare spell, which you just saw him one-shotting Phoebe. This is the only attack in the fight that has an elemental property, which is fire. It does, as you saw, around 950, 960 damage onto Phoebe. And that's the attack you need the helmet for. Then he has two web attacks, the silver web, which deals around, let me guess, 550 damage and confuses, and the golden web, which petrifies and deals between 450 and 500 damage if it doesn't petrify, because of immunities. And then he has a white spell of himself, which deals around 600, 650 damage to both characters.
When in doubt, the safest play you can make is to cast life on the other party member. And if both of them do that, it's really hard to wipe.
Yep. The cross life is really good strategy. You just do double life onto the other party member each end. Unless both characters are in one-shot range of the AoE attack he has, then you can't die in that turn.
And then that's usually enough to get you through the next turn as well. Get the other character healed, so a lot of good things can happen with that. And it's one of those things, you just gotta play with it to find the balance. But in much better shape here, just gotta keep the momentum going.
This flag setting also enforces basically difficult Dark King fights, or Dark King fights that make you wipe from time to time, because we have vanilla attacks on Dark King, and his attack set towards the later phases is really strong, and he scales from 100 to 150%, so he can't scale down. So you're basically guaranteed to have a somewhat difficult Dark King fight. It's just the question how difficult it gets.
Okay, much better shape here, was full health when the phase change happened. The only problem is Phoebe did a single cure instead of the AoE.
Yeah, that's the one problem, and when
the life spell costs you nothing. It's just one turn less damage, so if it takes one hit more on a Dark King, that's not the worst.
The thing about the Mega White is because it doesn't reduce Phoebe to have all the last she was not used. It's the biggest pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem on that fight. And what did I want to say? And unfortunately, he didn't do the safe strat here, which is just put Phoebe on auto and a flare with Benjamin. I think you did that too in your fight.
Phoebe most of the time.
You need basically Dark King makes you needing to heal with every attack. There isn't attack in his arsenal that doesn't require a heal, an immediate heal turn or heal move. So just leave Phoebe on auto, then she will react to what Dark King does, as well as her scripts allows it.
4, here we go.
Yeah, not only a few. And then you just nuke with Benjamin, and you can, if you do that, you can just nuke through it most of the time. just needing to live or defend sometimes, but pretty rarely. And now he does it, and he is in much better shape.
Yeah, again, full health on the phase changes where you want to be whenever possible.
Yeah.
Okay, the rare full damage turn.
Now he's going risky again, and yeah, Duck King doesn't have much life left, so it could pay off, but...
That's a solid
yeah, it pays off.
GG.
Okay, nice, GG's, you know. Great.
Yeah, that was pretty safe regardless, because Phoebe was...
Yeah, I mean...
Stabbed.
Yeah, he had one guaranteed attack after that, but yeah, it was good since you already feel out the HP value of Duck King in the first 3 phases, so it's an educated guess that you do towards the end here, because the 4th phase usually is a bit shorter than the 3rd one. So it was rather a small risk that he took there, and it paid, and he got it done, so GG.
And Xeno did have to depart for work, so not going to be able to join us here, but again, a GG to Xeno. Got through it, played it out.
Through it.
Respect.
Also on 1.5 hours, so it's still a respectable time, and yeah. Unfortunately, we won't see him anymore in the tournament, but I think he did a good showing here, and yeah.
And again, GG to the RPG chick. We got your next series of races to look forward to with Fred Coughlin coming up. And have some fun out there.
That's a banger.
Well, I want to thank you, Trenton and T, for doing commentary. And I assume Hatax is doing the tracking, so thank you to them as well.
All right.
Indeed, as I get the links there in chat. And if all this insanity looked fun, come join the Discord. There's even more.
Yeah. I think that was a really fun race. We had a pretty interesting seat. A lot of options which still turned to both runners do basically most of the time similar things. And yeah, we have a well-deserving winner with the RPG chick. They go on to a really banger of a match in the next round. And yeah, we have still a couple of matches left, which one of them is myself tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that too. So I hope to see you tomorrow again.
And thank you, chat, for those of you who stuck it out with us this afternoon. Hope you had as much fun as we did. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye-bye and good night.